let's talk about, and you don't have to have home ownership. You can rent. There are many women who really feel like they don't want to have the headaches of owning property. I get it, because owning property has its, its risks, and also it has a lot of upkeep and maintenance. And sometimes, if you want to just be liquid and free and fancy free and be able to have the kind of freedom to travel the world without having to have any particular real estate, you can do that. You can rent. My goodness, you don't have to own property. You can rent. There's the best way to decide is to really, check in with your heart and determine what is going to be the very best for you. Do you really value home ownership, or do you value the freedom so that you can just be free to move around and explore different parts of the country, different parts of the world? And if that's you, then renting a home is obviously, a very, very good, it would be a good decision for you. I have a chart that I wanted to share with you. Take a look at this chart. This is produced by JP Morgan, and it's a 10-year annualized return by different asset classes. And you might need to enlarge this on your screen, but the first one to the left is in green, and that would be 10 years of if you invested in the Standard & Poor's 500. So that's the stock market. Gave a 16% return over the last 10 years. And of course, that was during the bull market from 2012 to 2021. So it did not include this last year of 2022, but just look, 16% return for the S&P 500. And now as you move to the right, something on the third one right here is real estate investment trust, 12%. And I'm going to come back and talk about that in just a minute. But over the last 10 years, real estate investment trusts, that means by investing in the United States real estate by means of the stock market, real estate investment trusts grew an average of 12.2%. Now let's go further to the right. The bright blue column, which is 11%, that column is a combination. If you were invested 60% in stocks and 40% in cash or bonds, would be a 10-year return of 11%. Now let's move further to the right. If you flip that over here in the dark blue, if you flip that from 60-40 to 40-60, and you only had 40% in the stock market and 60% in cash or bonds, your 10-year average return would be 8.4%. Now, right next to that in the gray is with the word home underneath. Take a look at home ownership in the last 10 years had a 7.8% 10-year annualized return. 7.8% 10-year annualized return. I think that's interesting. What that says is that, the average over 30 years I have read and studied, the average home ownership return over 30 years is just about 7%. So this is right in line of 7.8%. The average 30-year return of the stock market is more like 10%. So this 16% in the last 10 years is higher than usual. So that kind of gives you a little bit of relativity in terms of asset classes, ladies, on what is it that pays over time. Now, real estate is a very important asset for you. And I believe in assets, assets, assets. The more assets we have, the more asset ownership we have, ladies, whether we start out with the mortgage and then pay it off over time, or whether we pay it off in cash right away and own it outright and then buy something else and something else. it's really important as it relates to real estate to make sure that it is quality, because quality will last for the long run, and quality will rise in price over time. Quality stocks is what I teach, and I teach in the financial clinic how to find quality stocks. What is a quality stock? What is a quality company? How can you determine what is quality? How can you determine if that company is going to make money for you over time? How can you determine whether you're going to get a cash flow from that and a long-term payoff as an asset over time in from other companies? But real estate is the very same way. You want your real estate to pay off a very good return on your investment over time. You want to be able to own a home that gets higher in value over time. Am I right? But yes, in the chat, if I'm right, you want your real estate to be a higher asset value for you over time. Now, some of you want to have real estate as not just home ownership, but an investment class, an asset class of investment. Yes, 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 I can see that in the chat. Thank you so much.